If there was one miracle trick out there that could instantly elevate the TTRPG mystery game, take it from slow and mediocre to tense and engaging, then why haven't we found it yet? Because we're still hovering around the fish market. Welcome to Kraken Week. This week you'll see a bunch of TTRPG creators on YouTube come together to play around the same theme. The ocean, marine creatures, and all things lurking underwater. But since I tend to be only metaphorically on topic, tonight we'll also talk about crafting mystery scenarios. When talking mystery writing, we've often been fed about the same one basic recipe, and especially the same one ingredient over and over and over again. Not this one? Nope, still not. There it is, the red herring. Supposedly, this would be the key to a complex and compelling mystery where the players are led astray by false clues and misdirection. In practice, it's meh. I would like to propose another option. Another fish, even more flavorful and elusive. So if you want to find the pearl, leave the fish market. Instead, we need to go much, much deeper. And what better place to learn about mystery than the depth of our ocean, where everything is shrouded in intrigue. Fellow game masters and explorers, I invite you to an expedition into the depth, to discover what will hopefully become one of your favorite narrative tools, the dreadful and deceptive anglerfish. Before we get into that, why is the red herring so bad anyway? And what even is it?
In storytelling, the red herring is a narrative device which misleads the audience or the reader into reaching the wrong conclusion. In doing so, they set the stage for unexpected and impactful plot twists.
I mean, that sounds great. And at this point, red herrings have become a staple of the mystery genre. I mean, if Agatha Christie was using them and she was an absolute goddess, then why should I not? Well, because we're not playing by the same rules. Actually, she's not playing at all, she's a novelist, not a game master. The typical journey in a mystery narrative inevitably takes us from point A, the hook, to point B, the resolution or reveal. Otherwise, it wouldn't be satisfying. And the red herring makes this journey a bit less linear. Otherwise, it wouldn't be satisfying. In a book or a movie, we're bound to sail to the reveal with the author at the helm. In TTRPG, the future is more uncertain. Red herrings become risky because the story isn't controlled by one single author. We can't control the path that our players take to the resolution, which is a good thing. We can't be sure what this resolution is even gonna look like, which is also a good thing. The GM alone doesn't carry the story, it's a whole crew effort. And as much as getting lost can be a part of the story and we should always embrace the unexpected, red herrings just make things messy. So why would we cast our players adrift? Why give them false leads? When you send your players off into aimless currents and they stop making progress, they will get frustrated and the pacing of your game will definitely take a hit. So how do we get the benefits of red herrings, aka setting up for twists and turns, without murdering the momentum of our game? I would like to submit my proposition to the jury.
Anglerfish.
The anglerfish is the red herring's cooler, shadier cousin. Just like the red herring, it's a type of twist that seeks to mislead and trick by introducing false leads early on. But the subtle nuance between them makes all the difference. Like a real anglerfish uses its bioluminescent lure to attract prey, the anglerfish as a narrative device presents something to the players that seems to be a solution or a helpful clue. However, unlike the red herring, which sends players off on the completely wrong path, the anglerfish guides them in the right direction. But with a catch. Behind the lure shining like a lighthouse, there is a row of sharp teeth. Once the players try to act upon this solution that they found, it turns into a complication or an unexpected challenge. Basically, the red herring is a halt, an impasse. Meanwhile, the anglerfish is an agitator, an instigator. Instead of the red herring's aimless distraction, we get a purposeful twist that keeps the narrative engaging without derailing progress. If it still feels murky, an example might be helpful. Actually, I'll tell you about the scenario that gave me the idea for this whole concept. St. Andral's Orphanage by Mandymod, initially created as a supplement for Curse of Strahd. If you don't want spoilers, this is your warning. I'll see you there. The players are sent to investigate an orphanage after some tragic and strange incidents. Their search will eventually lead them to a spooky child possessed by a demon. But much before the players reach the kid, during their investigation, they come across a mysterious item. A silver locket confiscated from Spooky Boy by the matron. and the locket itself bears symbols reminiscent of those used to trap fiends and demons. Initially, the players might think that the locket could trap the demon again, but it was only the demon's prison until Spooky Kid found the locket and broke the seal. Now, if the locket is open and physically in contact with another creature, the demon can use it to try and possess them. And so as the players proudly brandish the locket in front of the demon ominously grins, and the players come to realize their terrible mistake. Boom! It was all a trap, much like the lure of an anglerfish dangling before an unsuspecting prey. Although the anglerfish doesn't always necessarily mean danger, it's really just the false representation of a solution leading to a complication or an extra challenge without sabotaging progress. And when used effectively, the game will feel even more challenging and rewarding and satisfying. Okay, that's all well and good, but how do we actually introduce an anglerfish into our game? Once you get how it works, there are so many different ways of using this technique. A bunch of anglerfish subspecies. This scenario by Mandymod showed us the anglerfish as a deceptive tool, an item that turns out to come into play in a completely different way than what was expected. And this object can be so many things. Maybe a violent poltergeist has been manifesting around a wedding venue. You thought that returning their engagement ring would appease them. But if you didn't realize that the ghost was actually murdered by their fiancé, you might have to do some damage control when they violently lash out after seeing the ring. Or let's play with rumors. A cultist leader is said to get his powers increased temporarily by eating this strange fruit that he always keeps at hand. When the players make their way to the ritual chamber to fight the cult, the fruits are right there. A player may be tempted to take a bite and shift the odds in their favor. And while it does work, they weren't quite warned about the hallucinations. Or the anglerfish might even take human form. In this case, what's misinterpreted is often the character's motives or what part they play in the story. One common red herring is a person that you thought was guilty turning out to be innocent, and so you've just wasted a bunch of time investigating them. As an anglerfish, while the person may be innocent, they are still somewhat connected to the resolution. Recent events of a seemingly paranormal nature are threatening the students of a college dorm, and the frat boys are getting hurt. One overachiever student is always so mad at the loud parties of the frat boys that prevent her from studying. She could be a potential suspect, but in truth the culprits are a group of little invisible fey creatures who have decided to help her out without her knowledge. They're the ones sabotaging the frat boys when she's got no idea these things even exist. Or I once played the Monster of the Week game where one person that we thought to be a bystander we had to protect turned out to be the monster in disguise, and it was leading us right into a trap so it could eat us. Now that I think of it, there were so many hints. But really, the anglerfish can take any form. It can be a lie of a mission. The pirates told you that invoking Our Lady of the Waves would cure you from the curse. But when you get there, there's a catch.
Mortal, if you seek my aid, then where's my sacrifice?
The only thing that matters is that investigating this lead will not drive us completely beside the point. Instead, it will create a complication in the finale. It's giving your players a piece of information that they can take and run with it to the resolution at the cost of unexpected challenges in the twist. However, heed my words. As cool as I think this little trick is, I need to do my duty as your guide into the deep waters and give a word of warning. In any good mystery, it's natural to expect something fishy swimming about. But let's be careful about overuse. These are treacherous waters for game masters as well. The anglerfish should add complications and challenges, not guarantee failure and have your players feel cheated. Remember that the goal of this tool ultimately is not to sabotage players, but rather to guide them. If success entirely hinges on recognizing the lure of the anglerfish for what it is, then there should always be hints. At least a fighting chance for players to realize the trap and avoid it. Otherwise, it's not an anglerfish, you're just casting your players into the Kraken's maw, that's it. If you believe that this little trick might help you in your mystery writing endeavors, then I am happy that the call of the deep resonated with you. But if you don't want to swim back up to the surface just yet, you're in luck. Plenty more videos from Kraken Week await, and they will be in this playlist right there. I'm heading out to discover what everyone else has been up to, and I hope to see you there. On this note, have a good evening, and do not trust the mermaids.